Dawn breaks over the Bashi Channel, painting the sky in soft hues of orange and gold. The tranquil waters belie the tension simmering just beneath the surface, as the world awakens to another day in one of the most contested maritime corridors on the planet. On deck, the Philippine Coast Guard stands vigilant, every crew member on high alert. Their eyes scan the horizon, searching for any sign of trouble, knowing that even the calmest morning can turn dangerous in an instant. Suddenly, a radio crackles to life. An urgent transmission reports unidentified aircraft approaching rapidly from the north. The tension on board spikes as the crew braces for what's coming. Within moments, Chinese J-16 fighter jets roar into view, slicing through the morning air in a tight, intimidating formation. The Coast Guard crew scrambles to their stations, eyes fixed on the sky, hearts pounding as the jets thunder overhead, their presence impossible to ignore. This is no drill. Encounters like this have become almost routine, a stark reminder that these waters are now a chessboard for military power, where every move is watched and every gesture carries weight. The Chinese jets skirt the very edge of Philippine airspace, sending a message that is both clear and chilling. They are rehearsing for a possible future conflict, one that could see them surge south to encircle Taiwan, shifting the balance of power in the region. As quickly as they appeared, the jets bank and disappear into the distance, leaving only the echo of their engines and a lingering sense of unease. The crew exhales, but the tension remains thick in the air. For the United States and its allies, preventing escalation in these waters is a daily mission. Their ships patrol alongside the Philippine Coast Guard, a visible show of unity and resolve in the face of growing threats. In a nearby monitoring station, American and Filipino personnel work side by side, eyes glued to radar screens and surveillance feeds. Every movement is tracked, every anomaly analyzed, as they piece together the puzzle of China's military intentions. The Bashi Channel has become a front line in a new kind of conflict, one fought with surveillance, intelligence, and nerves of steel. Here the stakes are high, and the margin for error is razor thin. The ultimate goal is clear: to know China's plans so thoroughly that surprise becomes impossible, and to ensure that any hostile move can be countered before it begins. The jets may have faded into the distance, but the threat they represent lingers, casting a long shadow over the channel and everyone who sails its waters. Once just a busy shipping lane, the Bashi Channel is now a critical artery for global trade and the key to Taiwan's defense. Every ship that passes through is a reminder of what's at stake, not just for the region, but for the world. Here, geography, power, and strategy converge, making the Bashi Channel a flashpoint where the ambitions of nations collide, and the future of the Indo-Pacific may be decided. The struggle for control has only just begun, and as the sun sets over these tense waters, the world watches, knowing that what happens here could shape the course of history. The Bashi Channel is a strategic gateway, separating the Philippines' Batanes Islands from Taiwan and forming a natural boundary between two vital regions in East Asia. This narrow stretch of water links the bustling South China Sea to the vast Pacific Ocean, serving as a maritime bridge between continents. For centuries, the Bashi Channel has been a vital artery for global trade, with ancient trading ships and modern cargo convoys alike passing through its waters, carrying goods, cultures, and ideas between East and West. Today, any disruption here would ripple through the world economy, halting the flow of energy, electronics, and essential goods that power industries worldwide. For China, the channel is both a launchpad for projecting power and a vulnerability that must be guarded. It's the main route for Chinese warships and submarines to break out into the Pacific, giving them access to deeper waters and greater strategic reach. In any Taiwan conflict, control of the Bashi Channel becomes a top priority, shaping military strategies and regional security calculations. For the US and its allies, the channel is a defensive chokepoint, a place where naval power can be concentrated to deter or block adversaries. If China were to control this passage, Taiwan's southern flank would be dangerously exposed, making the island more vulnerable to encirclement. At the same time, US naval operations in the region would be threatened, limiting their ability to respond quickly to crises or defend allies. The American strategy is clear: deny China this passage by working closely with the Philippines, strengthening alliances, and increasing joint patrols. A well-defended channel fortified with advanced weaponry and vigilant patrols, can block even a larger force, making it a cornerstone of regional defense and deterrence. The Bashi Channel is where China's ambitions and America's resolve collide, turning this narrow waterway into a potential flashpoint for great power rivalry. The fate of Taiwan and the stability of the global order may ultimately hinge on who holds this narrow stretch of sea, making the Bashi Channel one of the most consequential waterways in the world. Defending Taiwan starts with geography. Its fate is shaped by the sea and the narrow passages that surround it. The island sits at the crossroads of East Asia, where powerful currents and critical shipping lanes converge. Whoever controls these waters controls the flow of trade, military movement, and ultimately, the balance of power in the region. Three vital choke points define the battle for Taiwan's survival, each acting as a gate that can either protect or expose the island. To the north, the narrow gap between Taiwan and Japan's Yonaguni Island is heavily fortified by Japan. Advanced radar stations and missile batteries keep constant watch, making it a formidable barrier against any surprise approach. The Luzon Strait, wide but perilous, is a direct route for invasion, but a deadly gauntlet for any attacker. Its unpredictable weather, strong currents, and vigilant defenders make it a nightmare for any invading force. Most analysts agree, a frontal assault across the strait would be costly for China, likely resulting in heavy losses and fierce resistance from Taiwan's defenders. The third gate, the Bashi Channel to the south, is the linchpin. This deep water passage is a crucial artery for both military and commercial ships, connecting the South China Sea to the Pacific. If China can't win quickly, it will try to encircle Taiwan, cutting off supplies and aid. A blockade strategy would rely on dominating these choke points, especially the southern approach. The Bashi Channel is the gateway for this southern pincer. Control here means the difference between isolation and lifeline for Taiwan. Control it, and China can blockade Taiwan. Lose it, and US and allied forces can keep the island supplied, turning the tide of any conflict. Holding all three gates is essential for Taiwan's survival. Each choke point is a test of resolve, coordination, and international cooperation. Japan and the US guard the north. Taiwan defends the strait, forming a shield that deters aggression and reassures allies. But the southern gate, the Bashi Channel, depends on the Philippines. Their patrols and surveillance are the first line of defense in these waters. Without Philippine cooperation, shutting the channel is nearly impossible. Their partnership with the US and regional allies is vital for any effective defense. Geography makes the Philippines indispensable in this fight. Their location, right at the mouth of the Bashi Channel, means their choices could decide the outcome of any conflict over Taiwan. On Taiwan's southwest coast, Kaohsiung Port is the island's economic lifeline. It handles nearly all energy imports, food, and military supplies. In war, Kaohsiung becomes the main entry point for Allied aid. Most supplies must arrive by sea, making the port a prime target for Chinese attack. If Kaohsiung is shut down, Taiwan's resistance becomes a race against dwindling stockpiles. Defending the port is defending Taiwan itself. The sea lanes to Kaohsiung run through the Bashi Channel. If China controls the channel, it can choke off Taiwan's lifeline. Keeping the channel open is vital for Taiwan's survival. War is a contest of logistics. Armies need constant fuel, ammo, and supplies. For China, invading Taiwan means crossing dangerous waters and sustaining a massive force under fire. Every bullet and gallon of fuel must cross a vulnerable supply chain. If a direct invasion is too risky, China may try to blockade Taiwan, starving it into submission. But enforcing a blockade is a logistical nightmare for China too. The Bashi Channel is the battleground for these supply lines. US and Philippine forces can threaten Chinese ships in the channel with missiles, submarines, and aircraft. Suddenly, China's own supply lines are at risk. The channel's control determines whose logistics hold and whose plans collapse. In this fight, supply lines are the real front. The Bashi Channel is where that battle will be won or lost. China's assertiveness has pushed the US and the Philippines into a new era of military cooperation. The Philippines' northern islands, just 200 kilometers from Taiwan, are now strategic assets. The Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement gives the US access to key Philippine bases. These aren't traditional US bases, but shared sites for rotating troops, pre-positioning gear, and joint training. This access lets the US disperse forces, respond quickly, and patrol the Bashi Channel. Airfields and bases in northern Philippines become launch pads for surveillance and missile systems. US Marines with long-range missiles can turn the channel into a deadly trap for Chinese ships. Joint exercises like Balikatan now rehearse real-war scenarios, signaling resolve to Beijing. The Philippine Shield is no longer theory, it's a growing reality complicating China's plans. The alliance is transforming the region's balance of power. The Bashi Channel is now guarded by a united front. America's Pacific defense relies on the first island chain: Japan, Taiwan, the Philippines. This chain forms a natural barrier, blocking China's access to the Pacific. Japan and the Philippines are the anchors. Japan's fortified islands block the north. The Philippines controls the south, especially the Bashi Channel. The US strategy dispersed mobile, lethal forces across these islands, creating a wall of missile threats. Any Chinese invasion of Taiwan would face attacks from all directions. This network raises the cost of aggression, deterring China from risking a wider war. The Bashi Channel is the southern linchpin of this strategy. The US-Philippine alliance has turned the first island chain into a real, integrated defense. Peace is preserved by preparing for war. Right here, in the channel. Beneath the Bashi Channel lies a hidden battlefield, undersea fiber optic cables. These cables carry Asia's internet, financial data, and communications. Their concentration here is a major vulnerability. Cables can be damaged accidentally or sabotaged by hostile actors. In a conflict, cutting these cables could isolate Taiwan, disrupt economies, and sow chaos. Protecting them is now a top priority for regional navies. The struggle for the channel is about both physical and digital control. Politics may shift, but geography endures. The Bashi Channel will always separate the Philippines from Taiwan, anchoring the first island chain. The Philippines' location makes it a permanent player in the US-China rivalry. Any power seeking control of Asia's sea lanes must reckon with the Philippine archipelago. Geography ensures the US-Philippine alliance remains vital, regardless of political winds. The defense of Taiwan and the security of the channel are inseparable. China pushes to break out. The US and its allies push back. The Bashi Channel is a pressure point in this contest. As long as Taiwan's fate is uncertain, this narrow strait will remain a front line. Geography, not politics, will decide its fate.